As always, welcome back to the XRP Insider channel. Today's XRP episode is another one, as usual. Therefore, wherever you are in this vast world, I hope you are all enjoying your day. I had to start with this from Crypto Brothers before we discuss XRP. XRP is set to soar like Amazon. Given that analysts anticipate a $200 rise, they are thinking back to the roughly 3,800 days that Amazon shares went sideways following the dot-com bust from 2000 to 2010. The stock gradually established a foundation over that period, ultimately creating what analysts refer to as a cup and handle pattern. By the time of the breakout, Amazon had increased from about $5 to $200, a 3,900% gain in just 15 years. He contended that XRP might be in a similar predicament. He said that the cryptocurrency's latest price of $2.75 was not far from the $5 mark, which marked the start of Amazon's meteoric rise. It won't take as long as you think, even though I see a lot of people currently demanding a $200 XRP. If it does, it will occur in the upcoming months. A 3-digit XRP might appear if all the factors are in alignment. Although it took Amazon a while to recover from the crash, Jake Claver calls for 1,500 to 2,500 XRP in that same time span. Today, however, the cryptocurrency market is growing far more quickly than the internet. Raw Paul is the source of this. Since there are only 5 million IP addresses and 5 million wallets, the adoption of cryptocurrency is still happening twice as quickly as the internet. Thanks to the present government, it's starting to really take off and is now being covered by the media, and I anticipate it picking up speed even faster. When you compare XRP to Tesla, after 7 years of accumulation, you can see what happened with Tesla, which is more like Ripple, in my opinion. It exploded. With XRP, the same thing will occur. I believe that this run for XRP will be nothing short of spectacular. Nothing is stopping it, and this cryptocurrency is nothing more than a series of catalysts. Now that everyone is talking about how Swift dislikes Ripple and that no bank likes it, it's a wonderful opportunity to buy XRP. Well, this document was released by Smoke. It appears that banks favor Ripple. The Ripple platform's primary goal is to transfer large amounts of money as quickly as possible throughout the world. Since its launch, Ripple has been stable, processing more than 35 million transactions without any problems. It has also been put to the test in combat. Ripple is adored by banks. Are you aware of why? Due to the fact that Ripple is working to unlock the Nostro Vostro accounts. Suddenly, these banks that were experiencing liquidity problems no longer have them because of the cryptocurrency XRP. Ripple is a superior version of Swift, which is why Swift dislikes it. I always advise removing your cryptocurrency from exchanges. Listen to what Jay Clever has to say about this. If it's on an exchange, it's not your XRP.
They own your XRP. You are a creditor of the exchange. You do not own that XRP if it's on an exchange. Just like a bank, you don't own your money. They have your money. They don't owe it back to you. You'd be a creditor. And if they need to take it because there's a systemic risk or a systemic risk for their business and they need to use it and they just want to give you the regular value for it, they have the right to do that. I guarantee you there's provisions in their contract that you signed when you started to participate on their platform where they can rug you. They can take your asset, especially Coinbase. They didn't pay out, anybody's Coin Cash when that happened. They still hadn't paid out people's Songbird. I know Fred Rustopoli's still in a lawsuit with them over that. So just be aware of that. Like if you don't have it in your wallet separate off of an exchange, you're exposed to whatever they want to do. And you're basically you're the little fish too. Like even if you filed a class action lawsuit with other people, they're going to settle with you. You're not going to get the asset. So anyway, not to scare people, but I would highly recommend getting your assets off of exchanges and into a wallet. If you don't want to pay for anything, like you don't have the money for whatever reason, I think Zaman is a great opportunity for XRP. I think We'd Say Win's built a good product there, but my preference obviously is Decent. I think that's the best solution. The biometric, it's got the largest breadth of assets that you can hold, and a 25th seed phrase. But yeah, I would definitely get my assets off of the exchange, because you are a creditor to the exchange, and that is not your XRP that's on there until you take it off.
And notice that he also mentioned Decent. In reality, I have 2 affiliates on this channel, Decent and Mexi. I chose Decent because I appreciate the range of assets that may be stored in a decent wallet. However, he is entirely correct. He is not mistaken. It's not your XRP if it's sitting on an exchange, and you have no idea what goes on there. You know what would happen if an exchange didn't work out? It comes with your assets. You've lost your cryptocurrency. Take a look at FTX's situation. Just consider this. What if you purchased XRP for, say, $3 at this very moment? It took a long time before holders began receiving their money back. For instance, the exchange shut down and your XRP was lost, but they fought it out in court, and the exchange was forced to reimburse its users. However, XRP is now trading for less than $3. Can you guess how much they're willing to pay for that XRP? You know, the lowest possible price. You probably did give away your rights to your XRP if something went wrong at the exchange, but people don't look at things when they sign them. I'm not claiming that everyone did it, but the majority of individuals signed documents they were unaware of, which is why I don't store my cryptocurrency on exchanges. I never leave the groceries I buy at the grocery store. According to the National Cryptocurrency Association, I never leave my cryptocurrency at the exchanges. In America, 70% of non-holders say they need more reliable information before attempting cryptocurrency, and 55% say researching it overwhelms them. Keep in mind that cryptocurrency is a part of financial literacy this back-to-school season. What should individuals learn about cryptocurrency first, in your opinion? They should start by learning to be patient when they enter this market, that this is not a scheme to make quick money, that you might be purchasing an asset and waiting for a fair amount of time before it begins to break out, and that you should never sell when the market is down. However, the majority of people need to see everything before they can initiate any action. You know, I didn't even consider cryptocurrency when I first started. I said to myself, listen, people are making money in this space, and I want to make money in this space too. I didn't need to conduct research. But guess what? Early on, it cost me money. I took hit after hit while chasing meme coin after meme coin. Then I realized that I should start looking at other assets available instead of continuing to invest in meme coins. I initially came to XRP for that reason. Companies that raise money to purchase cryptocurrency are closely examined by the daily NASDAQ. They're still attempting to spread the myth that you'll lose all of your cryptocurrency investments, so you know they don't want anyone purchasing it. Get rid of cryptocurrency as soon as you can and return to traditional stocks because it is extremely volatile. You seem powerless to prevent this from occurring. Now that institutions have discovered this area, they want to fully invest in it. That's what's happening, and the NASDAQ is not happy about it. According to this post, on Thursday morning, a dormant Bitcoin wallet that contained approximately 479 Bitcoin, which is currently valued at $53 million, awoke for the first time in nearly 13 years. You pay attention to what's happening, don't you? Guess what's happening in the background as the ETFs absorb liquidity and record 2 days in a row with inflows of $300 million. The inflows are going into the Bitcoin ETFs. These original Bitcoin owners are liquidating their holdings. They are now abandoning Bitcoin. The majority of them will remain in the cryptocurrency industry because they have made money there. That money will just be transferred to another project. Many of them will undoubtedly switch to Ethereum, but some may invest in utility-driven cryptocurrencies like XRP. The big transition is on the horizon indeed. The switch is a notion contained in institutional paperwork that describes the transition to a blockchain-based financial system, which is currently being prepared by the biggest governments and organizations in the world. It is not a haphazard theory from crypto Twitter. It's a real switch. It is the transition from our current system to a new digital system, a new financial system, and it is taking place in real time. Several large institutions are already taking part in that shift. Major corporations want to get on board with this, while other banks are lagging. The banks either become involved or fall behind. I mentioned the revaluation of gold just the other day. Listen to this from Black Swan Capitalist, who also discusses the reasons behind the designation of XRP as a stable coin.
Why did they call XRP a stable coin? That's my question. Why did they call XRP a stable coin and not a stable coin issued on XRP? You have to wonder, over time, is it going to be realized that, you know what? This is the stable coin. Maybe all stable coins are tied to it. So it's ultimately the stable coin of all stable coins. And effectively, if that does happen and come into fruition, even though I've believed that for many years and talked about it openly, what I think is going to happen, that in due time, it's going to be realized that in some way, form, or fashion, XRP is indeed the digital collateral that functions similar to physical gold. And I think that's the real agenda here behind the scenes, because it was the very same institutions that are saying, if we're going to have a new monetary system, we need collateral. And again, global liquidity is only as good as the collateral that backs it. That's why gold is being bought.
He also seems to be assuming that gold will support XRP, but I don't think that's the case. I doubt that will ever occur. I believed that this individual detested XRP, and I believe that it will shift the value of gold and return it to a stable currency. Listen to what Mark Yusko has to say here.
The one piece of legislation that is likely to happen, the other stuff, there's a lot of talk that they'll expand beyond just Bitcoin to now, XRP and Cardano and Hedera. And look, those founders have been buddying up to the administration and to Eric, and I think Eric's driving a lot of this, his son. So we'll see. But the case for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, because Bitcoin is digital gold, everything else has different roles. Something that could happen, I don't know if it'll happen the first 100 days, Abs, but there's some talk. This will make the XRP people really happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency or as the base layer for national banking. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's one that if that does happen, that changes things. It's kind of like...
He is therefore more inclined to believe that XRP would serve as the digital currency of the central bank. It would, in my opinion, be a part of a huge liquidity pool for the central banks. Stated differently, the central banks can use a sizable XRP liquidity pool to provide on-demand liquidity during their transactions with one another. That would be more of a reserve that I would be looking at for the United States. To put it another way, if the United States wanted to send money to the EU, it could enter digital dollars into XRP and exit as the digital euro. The United States would benefit greatly from it. In the first place, it would strengthen the US dollar, since it could be used in places where it is currently unavailable, and many people are still unbanked. But in addition, think of all the liquidity that would be required. Nostro Vostro is no longer necessary, because everything is happening in real time. Hey, we're going to send money to Russia, the president could remark over the phone. And those funds would be in Russia before Putin even hung up. Because it entered as the US dollar, passed through XRP, and exited as the ruble, or another currency that Russia uses. The BRICS currency is now being discussed, but it won't even matter, because XRP can transfer anything of value, so it doesn't need to be backed by gold. However, it also won't become a digital currency issued by a central bank, since a CBDC is only a stablecoin issued by the Fed. With the exception that it is issued by Ripple, there is a greater likelihood that RUSD will be a CBDC, and that XRP will move it. I believe I made everything obvious, but as XRP holders, we are aware of everything that will happen in the future because of all the studies. That's what we did. As this occurs and everything develops, XRP is at the core of it all. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks to all. The next one will see you.